Hi, this is Vic with an update on my 2014 Cadillac ELR. I continue to be very impressed with the energy efficiency of my 2014 Cadillac ELR. Before I start talking specifically about the energy efficiency that I've achieved, though, I will first talk about the standard operating, what goes on under the hood as the car is being driven or as the car is being charged, as I understand it. Now, I'll first begin by talking about the this photograph that I took a couple of months ago with my car being charged outside of my house, outside of my garage, uh, using the standard accessory charge cord that comes with the automobile. It's about a 15-foot charge cord, and there's no special connection required. It plugs into the standard 120 volt outlet into my garage, and the vast majority of the time, my car is plugged in while it's inside the garage. I left it outside of the garage on this particular day so I can take this photograph for this purpose. Now, while the car is being charged, it's charging the power supply, or a lot of people refer to it as the battery. It's charging the power supply that provides me anywhere between 38 to 40 miles of driving range before I need to use my generator or my engine. I refer to the gas engine as the generator because it is a generator, it generates electricity. And as a result of it being a generator, it is not susceptible to the abuses that a standard conventionally powered automobile is susceptible to, because the generator in the ELR and the Volt run pretty much at the same speed, regardless of how aggressive a person may be on the accelerator. Uh, the wheels are driven by electric motors, so that what is directly being affected by the driver when pressing on the accelerator is current flow or the flow of electricity. And the car accelerates very, very quietly, extremely quietly. And speaking of acceleration, the acceleration of the 2016 ELR, as I understand it, is far surpasses the acceleration of my 2014 ELR. Okay, now back to mileage. Here's the latest and greatest on my mileage on my 14 ELR. You can see on the slightly right-hand side of the screen, my lifetime average is now 92.2 miles per gallon. Now, if it's an electric vehicle, why do I measure my efficiency in miles per gallon? Because the car does use gasoline on occasion, once in a while. Once in a while, it will use some gas. I will use gas on rare occasions when my power supply is low enough to the point where it indicates there's an indication that it can no longer provide propulsion power for the automobile. And when I do turn on the generator, when the power supply runs low, all I have to do first of all is press a button on the center console and I can continue driving. I don't have to stop driving. All I have to do is press a button on the center console, and I do that to get it to start in mountain mode. Mountain mode will do two things simultaneously. It will add to the state of charge of the power supply, and it allows me to continue driving. So, if you're one of those people that have an electric car that does not have its own generator, like the ELR or the Volt, then you're required to stop and plug in your car and wait literally for hours for it to charge. I am not. As an extended range electric vehicle owner, I am not required to stop and charge my car. Now, if I do not charge my ELR, or if I had a Volt, if an ELR or a Volt owner does not charge their cars by plugging it in, then then they are not seeing the financial benefits of having an electric car. And that is why my lifetime miles per gallon is 92.2, because I never pass up a charge. It doesn't matter if I have time to charge my car fully or not. I just never pass up a charge. I'll take a few minutes to see if there's an outlet available, if there's one available, and if I can reach it with my cord, then, and if I only have 10 or 15 minutes, then I will charge it for 10 or 15 minutes. 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. Eventually those minutes are going to add up to hours, and the hours turn into full charge, resulting in me using almost no gasoline to drive at all. As a matter of fact, for the past month, I've used more gasoline mowing my lawn 3 times than I've used driving my car every single day. And I do drive my car every single day. Most days, I do not use any gasoline to drive. And I do drive every day. Okay, so 92.2 is my lifetime miles per gallon on my ELR. And that is truly my lifetime, because up to this point, I am the only owner of this ELR. And you see on this particular screen, above the green circle, it says 5.6 total miles. Now that's the total amount of the total distance that I drove when I took this photograph. And that was all on electricity, stored in a power supply without any electricity coming from the generator. You see, there's next to the left of the battery, there's 5.6 miles. There's a number 5.6 miles next to the left of the battery. And to the right of the icon that looks like a gas pump, there's 0.0 miles, another visual indication that I use 0 gasoline for this little short driving session. And 250 plus mpg, that's the average for this particular driving session. That is the most that the car will display anytime I use no gasoline. When I do not use the generator at all to generate electricity, it will display 250 plus mpg. And because it's only 5.6 miles, obviously I didn't need to use my generator at all. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, I may have touched on it already, but other owners of pure electric vehicles that do not have their own generator, you have the potential of suffering from, well, not suffering, you have the potential of having to deal with what some people have called range anxiety. In other words, okay, if I'm driving out of state or out of town or halfway across the country, then I need to see where I can charge. How close is a charging station to my destination? See, as a extended range electric vehicle owner, such as the ELR or Volt, I do not have to be concerned about that, because I have the option of continuing to drive and turning on my generator. When I turn on my generator, I just press a button on the center console to start the generator in mountain mode. Mountain mode does 2 things at the same time while it's running. It adds to the state of charge of my power supply, and it allows me to keep on driving. So I do not have to interrupt. If I'm driving long distance, I do not have to make the trip even longer by waiting for a car to charge. So folks who have a pure electric vehicle that does not have its own generator, well, congratulations for driving on electricity. Yes, my congratulations to you. And unfortunately, you do not have an extended range electric vehicle such as those made by General Motors. And the extended range electric vehicles made by GM, in my opinion, are probably the most convenient and most energy efficient vehicles on the American road today. And the cost of operation is very, very low. Thank you.